So Turkey with the win there, the 2-0 so far. We're going into the third game, best of 5, and it's looking pretty promising for Turkey. I mean, what I'm interested in is how we've seen Serbia have so much control and yet do nothing with it.
Yeah, there just seems to be that sort of hesitation where that final push can come in. It just doesn't happen. We saw it game 1 where they could have had those yellow houses and they could have probably taken out 4 or 5 Turkish players very quickly. So in game 2 they had this big concave on pretty much half the Turkish team and there was just no aggression. Where if they just collapsed on their Turkish guys, they could have come from 3 angles and just taken them all out, but it just didn't come to fruition. And the Turkish players were able to escape and eventually turn it into a win.
Yeah, it just seems like some sort of hesitation on the Serbian side. It just nothing really comes of the control they have in the first and second circle, and then after that, the Turkish players just kind of take over. They fly. I mean, we saw in the last game the sort of distraction on the south side, and then the sort of the flank, and they just took control as the distraction sort of worked as magic, and it was honestly pretty sort of awesome to watch, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Pladoric just on his own just caused such a distraction. It just felt like they thought there was 4 or 5 players there. So they all stayed around to try and find out where Pladoric was, and just allowed the rest of the players to just go around and just trap them on that edge. And I think Toby and I were talking about how between these two teams, the Turkish team, I think Yumi and Toby could recognise every player in the lobby on the Turkish side.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you look at the Serbian side, and you've got Nail-Up, I know Qbet, one of the other Serbian players, and they're the only 2 I recognise. And you're looking at that and you're thinking maybe that's why that hesitation is coming in, and that's why Turkey, despite not being in the better positions in those early circles, are able to just outplay them.
Yeah, it just seems like there's more of a kind of I want to say maybe an experience thing going on here, but then again, I mean, it is Vikendi, so I mean, we've had Erangel previously, and then obviously just now had Vikendi, and I mean, you can't. I mean, no, I don't think anyone really knows how to play Vikendi that well. Like, who? I think it's the the least popular map in public games.
Yeah.
So
sure.
it's I don't know.
There are those fundamentals that carry on across all those maps, and the fact that Turkey has all that competitive experience, especially playing together as well, as I was talking about earlier. How all those, I think every player in that lobby has played on a team with at least 5 other people on the Turkish roster. So, I mean, you're looking at and the amount of cohesion they have, the amount of experience they have playing together versus the Serbian teams is really why they're able to. We see them executing pushes and it working out perfectly. When they were fighting in Goroka, we saw Serbia initially had a bit of an advantage, but then the Turkish players, I think we saw 2 or 3 of DA running together.
Yeah.
These players that have experience working together, really high level, at PEL level, at contenders level, they grouped up, worked as a team, and just started taking out the Serbian players one by one as Serbia sort of got split up.
Yeah.
And we just saw that it went from an initial advantage to Serbia, and then Turkey just turned it up, just ramped it up, and eventually won quite comfortably in the end.
Yeah, it was like a wave of sort of Turkish players. Just like you saw it in Goroka, they just kind of like went forward and
they cleared the whole city.
Yeah, they just took it over. I mean, it's funny, we mentioned it in game, the lack of meds as well. Like, there's like multiple players on like 1 HP, and I was just like, well, I can't pick a thing.
I forget who it was, but the guy that had literally no meds at the start, there was on 1 HP, and then he just put the 2 smokes down, somehow able to escape. I don't know how he did it, but he got out, and I think he actually got 1 more kill after it. So it almost worked out, but he did sort of lose overall eventually.
Yeah, exactly. So I forget what map we have now. It must be Miramar. Oh, Sanhok.
Isn't it? That's a good question. Isn't it Miramar or Sanhok?
I feel like it
might.
What is
the last map? Because Erangel 2 is 4th.
Yes.
Put it on screen, just please.
I
cannot remember for the life of me. Is it in here?
Either way, it's definitely not Erangel.
It's not there. No, Erangel 2's 4.
Or
I know that.
Vikendi. So it's got
to be in here somewhere.
We got our sheets of things.
It's not in there.
Nonetheless, though,
I want to say it's Sanhok.
Okay. I mean, I'm down for some Sanhok. I think in the last Nations round we did actually see some Sanhok as well. And that was pretty interesting. Obviously, with the rolling hills, and obviously there's so much difference in terrain. So
I forget who it was against, but I remember specifically a game that Poland had that I was commentating, where it was around the Paradise area.
Yep.
And we saw this massive 20-player flank come out from the Polish team. They went all the way around Paradise. I think they were literally on the south. They went all the way around the east side of Paradise. around the north, onto the west side, and came behind the team they played against and just destroyed them from behind. They had absolutely no idea what was going on.
Well, there we go. The scoreboard, that was for game 2. The previous game we just saw. You see the kills for both teams. Some players obviously with no kills. Turkey, actually, the majority are on the sort of the top side of things. You've got Rip and Calendar up there with 3 and 4. And then obviously Serbia not quite getting that many more kills, obviously because they lost. But at the same time, it's more even, I feel.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm seeing Rare and Nailup, 2 players from Serbia with a lot of experience at the competitive level. Neither of them got a kill. Whereas you compare to the Turkish team, obviously in this game, a bunch of DA players didn't get kills, so Larsa didn't get a kill. But these sort of experienced players like Kalemdor, like Gluttony, players who have played at least at the contenders level, are getting sort of successfully traded. You know, they're not just dying for 1 kill; they're getting 2, getting 3, and that's where Turkey has the sort of expertise in gunfights. It's just not quite there for the Serbian team.
But then again, I mean, you have players like Mithrain, like Smash, and Sixmo, and all those guys that don't have actually any kills as well on the Turkish side. So I mean, then again, it does just happen to be that, you know, sometimes you just don't get any kills, and like your teammates just do everything. And
I was right, by the way, it is.
Yeah. Oh, Sanhok. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it is confirmed to be Sanhok.
I'm never wrong. I've never been wrong.
God damn it.
Apart from the times I have been, but we don't count those.
Yeah, no, that's it doesn't matter. But yeah, pretty interesting play path as well. But yeah, Sanhok is going to be the map, and yeah, we did
unique.
Yeah, because obviously the vision that you have is pretty limited. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much non-existent in a sense. So how do you feel like this is going to play out then? Do you feel like there's going to be a lot of sort of wishy-washy fights where things just kind of happen?
Well, the thing in squads and in duos that makes Sanhok so confusing is the fact that you don't have that vision. But the fact that there are 32 players on your team, yes, you can't see beyond maybe 50 meters. But if you have 32 players that can't see beyond 50 meters, suddenly you can see a couple kilometers. So teams that are successfully spreading and successfully communicating should be the ones at an advantage. I also think Sanhok, particularly in this 32v32 format, is the one that relies on the circle less, just because of how close you can get, how successfully you can engage onto the other team. I think for once, I really don't like Sanhok in squads. I will publicly state that. But in 32v32, it is ridiculously fun to watch, just because you can do those like massive 10v10 pushes. They actually work out quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're actually quite right there. There's something that's sort of like opened my eyes a bit in terms of like how Sanhok actually works in the 32-32, because you are right. You can sort of spread across a pretty wide area, and then you get information, which is a
place particularly where it can be really important is if you look to the south of Sanhok, when we get to the map, all the way from the river pretty much to the quarry, there's this one massive ridge. And if that's fairly central circle and you can get control of the entire ridge, you can see the entire map, like everything that is in the zone. So that is the sort of situation where a successful spread combined with good communication could turn into a really good game for you.
That is true. But there we go. The plane is obviously on its way out, and the Turkish players, they're going for that northwestern island and the western area, but it looks like there's going to be a fight in boot camp already.
And Painan, by the looks of it.
Oh, wow.
I think the entire Serbian team is splitting those 2 positions.
Yeah.
Trying to control the center of the map, and it may turn into a bit of an early advance by Serbia. If they're going to be playing sort of 15 versus like 4 or 5 here, then I think Turkey in for a really rough time here.
I'm also worried about the loot for Serbia though in Painan. Yeah, there's so many players in this. We call it lobster. Well, some people call it lobster. I just call it Big Red or whatever.
It's a lobster.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, lots of players inside lobster. I can't imagine they find that much loot. I mean, it looks like they've all got guns though, so fair enough. And the circle does pop, centered around cave.
Already a Turkish player is going down. Mithrain's out. She created as well. So 2 players down for Turkey.
Uh-oh.
We spoke about aggression needing to come in, and this may be the perfect opportunity for Serbia to make a comeback.
Yeah, that nade did a lot of damage, but didn't quite get the knock. I was quite surprised that was so close, but didn't get any knocks there. Rista, Kakasi pushing in as well. Pretty aggressive. Oh, the flank.
He's getting one down, but he can't get the flush in before he's taken out from behind. Serbia's getting 5 or 6 kills here, uncontested. And realistically, the only way you can turn this into something successful is if you at least get the 1-for-1 trades in Turkey, and it's just not happening. I don't think any Serbian player is going to get knocked and flushed. Kakasi did go down, but he's going to get rezzed up. And now it's Bambaki and Iro, I think, the last two real contenders to fight against these Serbian players. They need to start trading kills here.
You've got a few more DA players left. Mr. Iro from TSM there as well, just holding off Bambaki. He's got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of players in that warehouse, and they're all pushing out.
Merck gets the first one down, and the second player, I think, is going to go down. Bambaki can hit his shots. Yes, he can. So 2 coming back. Can they get a third? They can. 3 down. So suddenly, from a 5-player advantage, it's going to go down to a 2. Rare goes down as well. Bambaki going off here. Gets 2. I think actually gets 3 knocks. Yeah, he hasn't flushed his second kill yet. Now Ari's going to get another one. It's all going wrong for Serbia. The entire kill feed is just Turkey, 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 Turkey.
Lots of turkeys. And
well, isn't it Christmas? And Thanksgiving.
That is true, actually, yeah. That's quite funny. Nonetheless, though, Bambaki, nearly hits the other one as well.
If he'd hit that.
Yeah, I think you're out of ammo too, actually. I think he had 0 out of 0 there.
Just about escapes. But yeah, you look at this, and it's still the advantage of Serbia. They're 29 to 24. There were some trades back from the Turkish players, but not quite enough, really, to turn this into a successful gunfight. They need to find another position to try and bring the numbers back to even. And this might be the game where Serbia comes back.
Yeah. Dulik.
6 mo's been found out here. Dulik spotted him. Should be an easy kill. 6 mo. Yeah.
Oh
goes
wow!
Down.
Instantly spotted out, and looks like the flush coming in.
And that's going to be what, 21 to 29 once Merck gets flushed out as well.
Yeah, it seems so. So they have full control of boot camp. It seems are on the western side, and then Libsyn, I think, towards the northern warehouses. And there's even more players pushing out from Painan from the south. So it seems like the majority of Serbian players is trying to take control of boot camp, even though it's not, it's not inside the circle.
Well, I like this from Serbia. The sort of the commitment to that early gunfight. We saw game 1, game 2. It was the hesitation, the lack of aggression in those early circles that really cost them towards the late game. And now they've taken an advantage that they saw. They sort of chose these 2 job spots to center on. And the fact that the Turkish players didn't back off from it meant that if the Serbian players could have been aggressive, they could turn it into an advantage. And that's exactly what's happened. 11 Turkish players going down for only 3 Serbs. So realistically, you're looking at the Turkish team, and they've lost a lot of their big players. And talking big players, arguably their best player, Iro, going down. He did get the knock, but I'm sure he's not going to get that kill.
No, I don't think he will. Yeah, the advantage definitely does grow. You're right. So full control of boot camp now, and the only closest player on that side of the island is the Enderlost or the Venderlost. And he's going to get a whole world of hurt. If he makes any noise there, he's going to get a lot of bullets his way.
I'm looking at this now, and for the first 2 games, we've seen Serbia be in a position of power, be controlling the sort of the strong positions in the circle, and Turkey have been the aggressors. Now, Turkey with the 9-player disadvantage, but they do have that centre circle. They've got the good compounds. So maybe if they could set up a trap on the Serbian players. If the Serbian players can't get those successful engagements going on, then there could be a bit of a comeback on. It's certainly not over.
No, exactly. And you have a lot of players on the northern side, like the northwestern side as well, that do have to come in at some point in time. And I wonder if Serbia's going to push back in from boot camp, and then they'll just have a wave of players coming from behind them, and then a wave of players coming from the south as well. It's just going to be an absolute sandwich.
Well, Nailup's got the lineup onto the Enderlost. He spotted him. Must be communicating with his teammate here. There's no aggression there. They're trying to collapse onto the player, but if Zoom goes too early, the Enderlost is going to get him down. He's going to get the knock and the flush. A little bit of over-aggression there, and now suddenly Nailup in a 1v1. The Enderlost is going to back up. I think he should be able to survive if he can just get it across the road. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, looks like he's okay. Well, I say we say that. The shots do come out. Nailup does tag him once. Some return fire comes in.
He's going to commit to the gunfight with only a 2x, and that was a mistake. Nailup takes him down.
Wow.
Absolutely nailed, and there was realistically no one around to save the Enderlost. So
yeah, I know.
Serbia retaining that 9-kill advantage. The Enderlost did at least get that trade, but given the disadvantage they're already in, those 9 kills, at this point everyone needs to be doing a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Serbia might actually win a game.
Yeah, it could go to 4 games, maybe 5. They could even bring it back. It's not a 2-0 sweep anymore, it seems. We'll have to see, though.
We do see the Turkish players that were on the northwestern island are trying to go away from the boot camp area, because I think the Turkish players have to know that Painan and boot camp was pretty much just that's where all the Serbian players were. I think they saw that, and it definitely looks like they've recognised it, and they're trying to just go around the eastern side instead. if they can at least get all 19 players into the center, sort of try and control the middle of the map and maybe position a few players around Quarry, then if the circle does go east, which we'll see in just 10 seconds, if it goes east, then it's going to be really difficult for Serbia to get in.
Exactly. I think what they possibly could do is maybe put these players coming in from the northern side into spots where they can sneak up and possibly get some spoiler spots.
It's a bit of a human wave from Serbia, the death stack.
Exactly, but we'll have to see. It's just so tough for Turkey now. Obviously, with a 9-player deficit now, just not really looking good.
But we spoke about how the Turkish team is definitely more stacked. There are a lot of players with competitive experience, and we looked last game how some of the more traditional, Pell players, Iro, the DA players, they didn't have that many kills last game, and the players that did, a lot of them are still alive. So potentially, there's those players that could come in, get 3, get 4, bring that gap back. If they can close it to 3-4 kills by the end of maybe this or next circle, then it's all to play for going into those late game.
Exactly. Some shots going back and forth though. Free NP. Tires going on to advice there. Just shots across this hilly ridge, just southwest of Quarry.
I'm surprised there's no one on the west here, given how it's essentially 40% of the circle. When is the water shift? Is it now?
Third.
So it's now.
It should be third. Yeah. So
it should be shifting towards the Quarry area.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I wonder if that's. I presume that's why there's no one on the west.
Yeah, that would make sense. Looks like Negos is making a run for it solo. He's going against the grain here and
balls
trying to. Yeah, I mean it's I give him that for sure.
He's going straight into Apocalypse here.
Yeah, this is. I mean, no, they're actually inside the cave.
No, he's on the top.
Oh, he is. Yeah, you're right.
He should be able to get the kill for free. There he is. Gets him down, and there's absolutely nothing any of the Serbian players can do about it. So there's 1 kill back. So down to an 8-kill deficit. It looks like Tari in the center of the map is in a really rough spot as well, as you see on the minimap. They've just got control of those warehouses, though. And that might be really good, considering where the circle's going to go on phase 3 with the water shift. That is actually potentially the strong position. But what we see here is the Turkish players are creating a bit of a concave. You can just about see it. Yeah, there we go. The Serbian players are getting congested in the middle of the map. So once the circle sort of shifts away from there, they're going to have to run into this wall, the defensive line of the Turks. And really, they're getting a lot of map control of where the phase 3 is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. We did say it that they should take Quarry and they should put some players in Quarry. It looks like they're pushing out of it right now, taking some shots back and forth. Although I think that's actually they haven't taken any shots just yet. It seems like they are unaware of the flank coming in right here. Kalemdor.
The problem with this though is because there is that big deficit, the line of the Turkish players isn't as long as the Serbian one is. So we see players like Dienlau and Husterish. Once the flank comes in, they can flank the flank. So maybe this is a little bit of over-aggression from the Turks. Time will tell. If they can at least get 2-for-1 trades, 3-for-1 trades here, then maybe they'll be able to bring it back for that central position to take into the late game. But Kalemdor sees the first one, doesn't get the knockdown though.
Yeah, no knock just yet. The nade doesn't.
Good enough.
Yeah, no, it's not too far. Free MP though, he does get the knock onto Kakasi, and knocks go back and forth. Now, the fight is underway. Genzo gets one onto Dulik.
And you see that number at the top, all the way down to 24 from 28. So suddenly the gap is closing. 5 players now, but Tari gets that knock in return. Dienlo flushes his teammate, I think, or at least knocks him. So it's getting the trade's still not quite where it needs to be for the Turkish players. They need to be getting that 2-for-1, 3-for-1 to bring it back. But they are at least taking down some of that Serbian central line. It's all about whether they can keep doing it. We see the circle goes all the way northeast now. So both teams pretty much dead center. It's all about who can get the map control, all about who can get those flanks working. And it's all about communication now.
No, exactly. And I think for Turkey, as you said, about trying to do these 2-for-1 sort of trades. I think that just comes down to using cover efficiently and just getting one knock, backing off and healing up if you need to, using your utility, and then pushing back out and getting one more and then doing the same thing over and over again.
And Turkey now going to spot another player out in the open. Advice completely on his own. What was a 9-point gap is now down to 3. Make that down to 2. 19 to 21 now. Serbia, there was this massive group in the middle that just didn't really do anything when the flank came in. They could have outflanked the flank, and now all of a sudden it's going to be a 1-kill gap.
This is absolute madness. Like there's just a big wave. And yeah, Russia does go down as well. It's just a massive conglomeration of players on this western side.
It's even.
A line,
19,
even.
19.
This is getting interesting now. This deficit is gone.
But if you look at this map, the Turks are spread out into this big line. I was talking about the map control and the vision, and now they have so much vision over the center of that circle, and they're forcing the Serbians back, forcing them towards the edge of the circle into one little area. We do have these little flanking players, Swedish and Apocalypse, but realistically, as a solo, you can't really do much in this. Maybe get a 2-1 trade at least. But Lipsin gets a knock onto the unknown. And we just see every time there's these individual or duos of the Serbian players that just sort of break away from the main group. And that's how Turkey have been able to bring this scoreline back. They've sort of stayed in this cohesive line, whereas the Serbians are spreading out, getting a bit disorganized and just getting picked off one by one.
Yep.
Really, there's no return. Mugi does at least get this knock, but he's not flushing him for now. There we go. Going to flush the kill. Get the advantage back to the 18-19, but still, given how big that advantage was coming out of first circle, I mean, I really think it's a mistake from Serbia.
Yeah, I mean, you see, it's an advantage for Serbia, but at the same time, this spread just looks so convincing from Turkey. You've got Kalimdor being the sort of the snake in the grass up north side. You see him here right on your screen. He's got the flanking position. Does he want to take any shots right now? I don't think so just yet.
He needs to look for a position where he can try and get 2 or 3 knocks, because that is the way that Turkey are going to win this game. If they're flanking players, the ones with that competitive experience can take out 2 or 3 players. For the less experienced players, then they're going to win the game and make it a hot 3-0.
Exactly. Oh, Kalimdor does get flushed out. He does get spotted. So that's the flanking snake in the grass down.
But we see here how this massive Serbian group up in the north is just getting completely split off from these individuals down in the south. So if the sort of the southern Turkish group can start taking out their solos without getting traded for the kills, then they can sort of collapse. And this circle is perfect for Turkey.
Yeah, literally just splits the circle in half. They have the whole majority essentially, and there's a few a few Serbian players on the northern side, just trying to do something, get some flanking shots.
The south is completely cleared out now. The Turkish players can all collapse on this just sort of single quarter of the circle. The northwest, all those Serbian players getting stuck in this one little compound and just sort of the hills just next to it. The Turkish line just really strong. They spread out, took that map control, and they have. Not only the centre, the entirety of the east is now free. So as long as the Turks can sort of contain the Serbians, keep them in that little area, then I can't see anyone except them winning the game.
No, Tari does spot some players just to his south.
Has he forgotten he has a QBU?
I think he might have. Oh, spray comes in.
That's my kind of spray right there. Getting tagged up by Slippy Zerg actually from a different angle. I'm not quite sure where that's coming in from, but it takes time. Actually, he does get a knock and a flush, so fair play. Use the M4. It did come into good effect for him. And the advantage still won to Serbia. So we saw it sort of collapse to the 18-18, and now Serbia just got that little advantage again. But map control still firmly in the favour of the Turks.
100%. Yeah, crate drops down just to the south there. So I mean, it's pretty much free for Turkey. I don't see there's any opposition around to contest it. So that's a free crate for the Turks.
What we see is the Turkish players on the south are actually just clearing out, just making sure that east is free, because once they know all that area is free, they could turn around and they could just completely group up on this northwest. So Apocalypse and Lada looking to sort of clear it out, looking to get as much information as possible for their team.
Yeah, Lazzy knows there's a player behind these rocks. He's got the 3x, but he's not peeking. F's is not doing much at all. Some shots come back and forth, but I mean, as you said, yeah, they're just trying to clear their south side, and then they realize that there's so much free space that they can just push up and take so much more space, more than they already have.
There is this big gap on the southern hill where, because those Turkish players are all going east to have a look at the back, they're sort of opening up the angle for the Serbs to at least get a little bit more lap control. So I want to see them push up. I want to see them completely contain the Serbian team and just make it no doubts about who's controlling this map.
Yeah, it just seems like they're resting on their laurels. They're not really doing much. They're playing very reactive instead of proactive. Whereas, I mean, you can see the Turkish players, they're pushing out, they're making moves, and now the circle does shift slightly towards Quarry, and literally no Serbian player is inside the circle.
I'm looking at this now, and if Reno and Nona continue to extend here, they're going to sort of push it to a 3 Serbian advantage, unless they can do something magical. But is anyone looking? I don't think any of the 7 players are looking, so maybe this is going to be the play. I'm not a massive fan of these individual pushes in such a big game mode, but it might actually work out. But it looks like History has turned around at the perfect time. It's all about who spots who first. Who's first going to spawn him, but he gets taken down 4 HP on 3 MP, but he gets the knock. But now all the Serbian players have turned around. There's an entire swarm coming for them. Can they at least get the trade down? Under gets the second knock, so 2 down. They've at least got the 1-for-1 trade if they can get those flushes in.
But
Grimix does get flushed out in the end.
Yeah. But this is the distraction that Turkey plays so well. You know, this is the flank distraction.
The 3 MP is just going wild. He does get taken down eventually, but they got 3 or 4 knocks of it. And what was the 1-player advantage to Serbia? Now 2 towards Turkey. And all those Serbian players are right on the edge of the blue zone, getting pushed in, getting tagged up, and they're not able to heal because of the blue.
Yeah, you see a lot of knocks coming through from the blue, a lot of flushes as well. So I mean, this takes it down to 7 for Serbia and 11 up for Turkey.
Whoa, that warm shot so nearly took him down there. Ladzi needs to do some work here. Foreign does at least get the knock, put it to 10-7. The trades are coming back in. Rulink on this rock is doing so much work. Slippy Zerg as well, getting the tags in. Smash, they're all stepping in, all taking out the Serbs. And the tags just aren't quite doing enough with that Orm.
No, yeah, he's getting no headshots, but only body shots. It's just not working out because they have at least a level 2 vest and just doesn't do anything for them. Yeah, 3 players left now for Serbia. Turkey on 10. And there we go. That is it. Turkey wins in a 3-0 sweep. When we apologies, we thought it was it was going to be a decent game for Serbia, and then all of a sudden Turkey just kind of takes control and Serbia don't do much at all.
I said I wanted to see some aggression from Serbia early. We saw that with the hot chop. They got a 9-player advantage and somehow they threw it away. I mean, I really loved the way Turkey played that. They recognized that they could sort of trap the Serbian players on that hill. You know, they had the quarry to the north, which is ridiculously hard to walk through. So they used that, took over the sort of remaining area in the center of the circle, and all of a sudden, all those Serbian players have to come through this tiny angle. And we saw this early gunfight go down. I mean, once Serbia had won this out, once they got to, I think it was 9-kill advantage at the end. It was like 20-29, obviously 20-28 there. I was thinking, surely there's no way Serbia loses this.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, right? I mean, with the impressive push onto boot camp and just completely flushing out all the Turkish players, then they just kind of stopped.
But we saw in those 2 phases there, Turkey's ability to take map control just by using that quarries I was talking about. And the fact that Serbia just wasn't able to get up on the hill and take control of it, it really sort of handed the win to Turkey in that sense. Because those pushes, trying to push a team, anyone can sort of pull off a 1v2 or a 1v3 when they've got people just running in the open at them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it is what it is. I think Turkey definitely outplayed Serbia there by a long shot in terms of just pure tactics and just pure kind of warfare tactics and the flanking position, which then led into the sort of the pure kind of control of the circle. And obviously, the circle shift at the end there kind of just gave it to them in a sense. But nonetheless, an impressive 3-0 victory for Turkey. We're back with, I'm not exactly sure when, but we'll be back with some more of the Nations Royale coming up pretty soon with the next round. I think we have, it would be
Turkey versus someone.
Turkey versus somebody. Turkey,
it's either Hungary or Slovakia.
I just heard it was Turkey-Hungary. So I'll be back in just a bit with that one.